What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome to another live edition of Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you here live on the U to the Tube. So good to see everyone. So, for tonight's Pro Wrestling Talk, we got a good bit to talk about. We got Stardom's 10th anniversary grand final, Osaka Dream Cinderella going on. I wanted to do a preview of the card, update on the current standings of the G1 Climax going on in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's see, the Queen's Crown and King of the Ring tournaments have started on Friday Night Smackdown. Got some AEW to talk about as well. A new championship has been introduced on the second year, the 2-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. So we got a lot to talk about. Now, I do know that currently the Stardom pay-per-view has started, but for the sake of this live stream and because I plan on watching it tomorrow, please, no spoilers. No spoilers, please. I would appreciate it. So, no spoilers. I know some may be watching it, but please, no spoilers. All right? So, let's get started tonight with some Stardom. Now, before I get into the pay-per-view card, wanted to also mention that recently, earlier this week in Nagoya on the 3rd of October, we've crowned new Artist of Stardom Trios champions. That's right. The reign of Cosmic Angels has ended. Mai Hime Poi of Donna Del Mundo, that's Maika, Himeka, and Natsupoi, became new Artist of Stardom Trios champions. And it was quite a great match. It was a really great match. And you know what? Cosmic Angels had a good run. They had a really good run. Very, very strong run. So, it was probably time for some new champs. But hey, definitely enjoyed the match. And we got new Trios champions. So congratulations to Maika, Himeka, and Natsupoi of Donna Del Mundo. So good stuff, ladies. Now, let's talk about the Stardom 10th anniversary grand final Osaka Dream Cinderella. This is quite a jam-packed card. So let's go over this card. So on this card, which is taking place, this event is taking place at the Osaka Joe Hall in Osaka, Japan. So let's look at the card. So we got a tag team match. We got Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama going up against Oedo Tai's Saki Kashima and Rina. I mean, this one's pretty easy to figure out. Oedo Tai's taking this victory. But it's kind of interesting seeing Waka Tsukiyama and Lady C both teamed up for this match. But Oedo Tai's definitely taking it, for sure. Definitely taking it for sure. We'll have the Future of Stardom Championship on the line. Unagi Sayaka will be defending that title against Oedo Tai's Ruoka. I think Unagi Sayaka is definitely going to retain. Yay, Cosmic Angels. But yeah, I believe that she's going to retain. She's been a pretty good Future of Stardom champion so far. And, Ruoka's definitely in the running to have this title shot, but definitely don't see Ruoka winning. I think Unagi Sayaka retains. Hopefully it'll be a good, decent match. I'm not too big a fan of Ruoka, but we'll see what happens. But I expect Unagi Sayaka to win that match. We also have the High Speed Championship on the line as Starlight Kid will defend the title against her Oedo Tai stablemate, Fukigen Death. Now, of course, we all know that Fukigen Death, back when she was Def Yama-san, she is a former high-speed champion. So this ought to be interesting. I'm sure we're going to see some comedy in this match, but I definitely expect for Starlight Kid to retain. You know, she hasn't had the title that long. She's been having a good run ever since joining Oedo Tai, and I don't see that ending anytime soon. I expect Starlight Kid to win this match rather easily, if I can be honest. I think she wins this match easily. I don't expect it to be too long of a match. But Starlight Kid, I'm picking her to retain the High Speed Championship. Now, we were supposed to get Shuri versus Konami UWF rules for the SWA Championship, but apparently Konami is out due to an injury. As a matter of fact, let me see what the injury is. It was a specific injury. So acute enteritis. So because of acute enteritis, Konami isn't able to compete in this title match. And it's been said that actually Shuri, the current SWA and one half of the Goddess of Stardom tag team champions, will actually be a guest commentary for this pay-per-view. So that's cool. Shuri, the 5-star Grand Prix winner, is going to be on commentary for this pay-per-view. So I love it. Definitely love it. But hopefully at some point, those two can have an SWA championship match. But looks like it's going to have to wait for now. Okay, continuing on. We got ourselves a tag team match, cross-brand tag team match. Cosmic Angels, Mina Shirakawa, and Mai Sakurai. Mai Sakurai, one of the newest members. And they'll be taking on, from the Marvelous Wrestling promotion, Maria and Ren Karakura. So this definitely ought to be interesting. I know every now and then Marvelous Pro Wrestling will have some ladies compete in a Stardom ring. I mean, you've had Ren Katakura, you've had Mei Hoshizuki, you've had Takumi Aroha, who's competing on this pay-per-view, actually. So this is very common. I'm going to pick Marvelous to win this tag team match. You know, they come onto Stardom for these type of matches every now and then. But yeah, I think Marvelous, Ren Katakura, and Maria will win this match. I'm picking them to win this match. Okay, and also right away, Mai Hime Poi will be defending the Artists of Stardom Trios titles against Queen's Quest, Saya Kamatani, Azumi, and Momo Watanabe. So just like that, after winning these titles, they got to turn right around and defend them. But I do believe Mai Hime Poi will retain. I expect a really great match between these two teams. Queen's Quest, very strong. But I expect Mai Hime Poi to retain. Should be a good match. Should be a really good match. And then we have a special return match as Hazuki will be making her in-ring return in a high-speed match going up against Stars Koguma. This ought to be interesting. This ought to be very interesting. Like I said, it's been a long time since we've seen Hazuki wrestle in Stardom. I know she went away, which I thought, she retired, but now she's back. So it'll be interesting to see how this match goes with Koguma. I'm actually looking forward to it. It's been a while since I've seen Hazuki wrestle. Hazuki is a former high-speed champion as well as Koguma. So this should be good. This should be really good. You know what? I'm going to pick Hazuki to win. Although it wouldn't surprise me if Koguma won, but I'm going to pick Hazuki to win. I'm going to pick her to win in her return. I think it should be good. Definitely think it should be good. And then we got the Wonder of Stardom Championship on the line, the white belt, as Tam Nakano has chosen to defend this title against the icon of Stardom, Mayu Iwatani. Mayu Iwatani, who's another former Wonder of Stardom champion. This should be really good. I know these two ladies have had quite a rivalry, that eventually ended up to the departing of Tam Nakano from Stars and starting Cosmic Angels. So this should be really good. Has potential to be a match of the card. It's definitely got competition with the World of Stardom Championship match, but don't sleep on this match. These two ladies, great wrestlers. I mean, Mayu hasn't been champion since losing the World of Stardom Championship to Utami Hayashishita. So, I mean, I don't think they're quite ready to take the white belt off of Tam. So I'm going to say she retains, but I expect it to be a match that might go down to the wire or might even end in a draw. Who knows? It might even end in a draw. It would not surprise me if it ended in a draw. But we'll see. But I don't think they're quite ready to take that title off of Tam Nakano. So I'm going to say Tam wins or will at least walk away with a championship. And then we got the main event, the World of Stardom Championship, the red belt, as the defending champion Utami Hayashishita will take on marvelous Takumi Iroha, who came very close. Who came very close to winning or to making it to the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix. Had a great run, didn't do bad at all. But this should be great. And we have to also remember these two ladies fought each other in the 5-star Grand Prix, and it went to a draw. So this is a good way to settle that tie. Championship match. But I do believe that Utami Hayashishita will retain. Should be a great match. Takumi Iroha, I love her. I think she's excellent. But I expect Utami to retain. And like I said, she retains, and then she has to defend the title in December against 5-star Grand Prix winner Shuri, which then I believe Shuri will finally take the title off of Utami. But yeah, those are my predictions. Those are definitely my predictions. And like I said, this is started currently as we speak. I probably won't watch it until tomorrow. So please, once again, no spoilers. But that's the card for this pay-per-view. But I'm looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. Okay. That does it for Stardom. Let's get caught up on some G1 Climax current results, shall we? Okay. Let's look at the A block first. So, of course, we know Tetsuya Naito's at the bottom with 0 points. He had the one loss to Zack Sabre Jr., then he had to forfeit the rest of this tournament due to knee injury. We have Tangaloa and Yujiro Takahashi both tied with 4 points. Let's see. Let's take a look at Yujiro Takahashi. He is 1-4-1. So he has the one win against Kota Ibushi. He has losses to Zack Sabre Jr., the Great Okarn, Kenta, and Tangaloa. And he has the draw with Naito. Or excuse me, no. He has the bye with Naito. I'm sorry. So he's technically 2-4. 2-4. Tangaloa, also 2-4. Of course, he has the bye with Naito. He's got the victory over Yujiro Takahashi. He has losses to the Great Okarn, Toru Yano, Tomohiro Ishii, and Kota Ibushi. And let's see. Both Tangaloa and Yujiro have 3 matches left. Okay. Toru Yano currently has 6 points. Toru Yano is 3-3. So he has the bye against Naito. He has victories over Kenta and Tanga Loa. He's got losses to Kota Ibushi, Shingo Takagi, and the Great O-Khan. So he too has 3 matches left. Okay. So tied with 8 points, we have a 4-way tie with 8 points. Tomohiro Ishii, Shingo Takagi, the Great O-Khan, and Kenta. Let's start with Kenta. So with Kenta, he is currently 4-2. So he's 4-2. He's got the bye with Naito. He's got victories against Tomohiro Ishii, the Great O-Khan, and Yujiro Takahashi. And he's lost to Toru Yano and Shingo Takagi. So Kenta still has a good chance. Okay. The Great O-Khan got off to a pretty strong start. The Great O-Khan is 4-3 currently. He's 4-3. So he's got victories. He's got the Naito bye. He's got victories over Toru Yano, Tanga Loa, and Yujiro Takahashi. And he has losses to Tomohiro Ishii, Zack Sabre Jr., and Kenta. All right. Shingo Takagi. Shingo is also 4-2. So he's got the Naito bye. He's got victories over Kenta, Toru Yano, and Tomohiro Ishii. And he has losses to Zack Sabre Jr. and Kota Ibushi. And he still has plenty of matches left. Okay. Tomohiro Ishii. He is 4-3. He's got the bye over Naito. He's got victories over Zack Sabre Jr., the Great O-Khan, and Tanga Loa. And he's got losses to Kota Ibushi, Shingo Takagi, and Kenta. And I believe he only has 2 matches left. Yeah, so it's coming down to the wire for him. And tied at the top with 10 points, we have Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. So let's see. Kota Ibushi, he is currently, he's 5-2. So he's got the bye over Naito. He's got victories over Tanga Loa, Shingo Takagi, Toru Yano, and Tomohiro Ishii. And he has the 1 loss, or the 2 losses to Yujiro Takahashi and Zack Sabre Jr. And then Zack Sabre Jr., he is currently 5-1. He's 5-1. He's got victories over Kota Ibushi, Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, the Great O-Khan, and Yujiro Takahashi. And he has the 1 loss to Tomohiro Ishii. So, honestly, with the way things are going, I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. might run away with this. I mean, he's only lost once so far, but he's got to face Kenta and Tanga Loa and I believe Toru Yano. So I mean, it's going to be close. It's definitely going to be close, but still a couple of days left. Because, like I said, the finals is on the 21st, so still a couple of days left. Okay, let's switch gears to the B block. Alrighty, the B block. So right now, Tama Tonga and Chase Owens are both tied with 2 points. Tama Tonga is he's 1-5. So he's got the victory over Chase Owens, but he's lost to Evil, Jeff Cobb, Sanada, Yoshihashi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Ugh. Not looking too good for Tama Tonga. Chase Owens, he's also 1-5. He's got the victory over Hiroshi Tanahashi, which that's crazy. And he's got losses to Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, Jeff Cobb, Evil, and Tamatanga. That's still crazy that he beat Tanahashi. Like, wow. Okay, we have a 4-way tie with 4 points. That's Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, Sanada, and Taichi. All right, let's look at Taichi. Taichi is currently 2-4. He's got victories over Sanada and Hiroki Goto, but losses to Okada, Yoshihashi, Jeff Cobb, and Evil. Okay, looking at Sanada. Sanada is also 2-4. Sanada has victories over Tamatanga and Chase Owens, and he has losses to Hiroshi Tanahashi, Okada, Taichi, and Jeff Cobb. Okay, Yoshihashi, who's also 2-4. He's got victories over Taichi and Tamatanga, and he's got losses to Evil, Jeff Cobb, Hiroki Goto, and Okada. And then we have Hiroki Goto, who's also 2-4. He's got victories over Yoshihashi and Chase Owens, but losses to Jeff Cobb, Taichi, Okada, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Ugh. Dang, man. And I'm a big fan of Hiroki Goto, too. Okay, sitting alone with 6 points is the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Alrighty. Tanahashi is 3-3 right now. He's got victories over Hiroki Goto, Sanada, and Tamatanga, but he has losses to Chase Owens, Evil, and Okada. Okay. And then we have Evil sitting alone with 10 points. So Evil looking very strong. Evil right now is 5-1, although he's had a lot of assistance from his House of Torture stablemates. So he has victories over Hiroshi Tanahashi, Yoshihashi, Taichi, Tamatanga, and Chase Owens. And the one loss he has is to Okada. And then sitting at the top, tied at 12 points, are Kazuchika Okada and Jeff Cobb, both who are undefeated. That's right. Both are 6-0. Wow. So Jeff Cobb, 6-0. Victories over Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, Sanada, Taichi, Tamatanga, and Chase Owens. He still has to fight Evil, Tanahashi, and Okada. So he's got 3 tough fights ahead of him. And then Kazuchika Okada, who's also 6-0, he's got victories over Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, Sanada, Taichi, and Evil. And he still has to face Chase Owens, Tamatanga, and Jeff Cobb. To be honest, Okada kind of has an easy path remaining, with the exception of Jeff Cobb. He's got to fight Tamatanga and Chase Owens. Honestly, those should be easy for him. But then again, Chase Owens did beat Tanahashi, so anything can happen. But I don't know. Something tells me Okada is probably, well, I don't know. Because remember, Jeff Cobb last year finished with 8 points, and now Jeff Cobb has 12 points and still undefeated. So I don't know. Jeff Cobb could make it to the finals. He could make it to the finals. That would be a big shocker. I'm not against it. I'm definitely not against it. Because, I mean, he finished with 8 points last year, and now he won up his record from last year's G1 Climax. But yeah, so still got a couple of days left en route to October 21st. Still a lot to see. But it's been a very interesting G1 Climax so far this year. Very interesting. Very interesting. But cool deal. So that'll do it for New Japan Pro Wrestling for now. And actually they got a couple of things coming up. They have another Autumn Attack this Saturday. Actually, yeah, tomorrow. And then a week later, they got the NJPW Strong New Japan Showdown. So that should be good to check out. And then pretty much the last half of October going into November begins the road to Power Struggle. So definitely a lot to look forward to on New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then in November, as a matter of fact, November 13th through December 15th, it's been announced they're going to do the World Tag League and the Best of the Super Juniors. They're going to do that at the same time, which I believe they did that at the same time last year as well. So they're going to do that again this time. So that should be awesome. That should be really awesome. I don't think they've announced the participants yet for those tournaments. No, they haven't announced that yet. So something to keep an eye out for. But cool deal. All righty. Let's jump into some AEW, shall we? Let's jump into some AEW. So, of course, the road to AEW Full Gear has begun. Of course, that'll be in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is Saturday, November 13th. So that's the last pay-per-view for AEW of the year, Full Gear. So definitely a lot getting geared up for that. But let's take a look at hey, what's up, Certified Hustler? How you doing? Let's take a look back at these results. Now, of course, this past Wednesday was AEW Dynamite's second year anniversary. So I can't believe it's already been 2 years. It's crazy. Already been 2 years, and it just seems like it's getting better and better. And then, of course, this one was in Philadelphia. But let's see, Sky Blue looked good on AEW. Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely like Sky Blue. She's been getting showcased quite a lot. Definitely been getting showcased quite a lot. I live in St. Louis. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You did score tickets. That's right. You also have tickets for October 24th. By all means necessary, and NWA. Oh, by chance are you also going to WrestleCade in November, Thanksgiving weekend? Are you going to that? They've been making more and more announcements of special guests there. They announced the Rock and Roll Express. They announced the Lucha Brothers. It's gonna be crazy. I'll be there that Saturday. Oh, you'll be at the Royal Rumble as well? Oh, okay. Dang, you got quite a lot to look forward to. She was the first match at NWA Power. I promise you, she got the biggest pop. Go watch that pre-show on YouTube. Take it as the most recent one. But yeah, started this AEW Dynamite off with a big 8-man tag. Of course, Jurassic Express, the good guys, been continuously feuding with the Elite, and this was no different. What's Russell K? Russell K? What's that? You had Kenny Omega, you had the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, baby, going up against Jurassic Express's Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and Christian Cage. And of course, this was no surprise that, Kenny Omega continues to get the Kenny no balls chant. But of course, this was a crazy, crazy match, but was very expected, very much expected. A lot of people ringside as well. I mean, you had Michael Nakazawa, Brandon Cutler, you had Marco Stunt. You had a lot of people ringside as well. NWA 73 weekend in St. Louis. Gotcha. But yeah, this was a very chaotic match, but very action-packed. And it is so crazy that this ended with a quadruple BTE trigger. It was so sick on Jungle Boy, and of course the Elite ended up winning this match. Let's see. Do you think MJF shows up over? And I don't know. Rumors is Jim Cornette's going to be hired by AEW to manage FTR. Ugh. Interesting. You said Midnight Express. No. The Rock and Roll Express. I meant to say Rock and Roll Express and the Lucha Bros are going to be at WrestleCade. WrestleCade. It's the yearly event they have in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. WrestleCade. Hey, Retribution Brown, what's up? Glad you can join. Welcome. But, I mean, geez, a quadruple BTE trigger. I've never seen anything like that. But it's like, hey, each person takes a corner, bam, quadruple BTE trigger. It was nasty. It was very nasty. Of course, CM Punk came out, got on the mic, did what he did. Of course, he didn't want to just be there. He wants to wrestle, and called out Daniel Garcia for a match on AEW Rampage. So, of course, what happens? It gets scheduled for the earlier's AEW Rampage. So, hey, I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. And they had this really, really trippy, eerie segment with Arn Anderson. No, I'm actually talking about Dynamite right now. Currently Dynamite, but I will get to Rampage, but currently talking about Dynamite. So you had Arn Anderson outside Cody Rhodes' home with a little mini, I guess, barrel fire, and he was just burning away. It was crazy. He was burning away, suit and tie. Cody came down and just, Arn Anderson's like, you threw us away. You threw us away. Even slapped Cody in the face. You threw us away. So, yeah, it looks like that's definitely over between the two. It's definitely over between the two. And it still does kind of make me wonder, if Ric Flair does end up being the one to manage Andrade El Idolo, you got him, you got Arn, you got Tully Blanchard. I smell something brewing there. We'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised. I'm thinking he's going to be a heel turn. I think you're right. It'll be a matter of time, but I think you're right. I do think you're right. Okay. The next match I was looking so forward to. The TNT title was on the line as Sammy Guevara made his first defense against the infamous one half of Red Dragon, former member of the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish. Oh, I was so pumped for this match. They even had Bobby Fish come out to dance away, the Red Dragon theme. He came out to dance away. I was like, yes, I love that theme. So, Bobby Fish, and new AEW t-shirt for Bobby Fish. instantly. So you best believe I gotta get that and his original Infamous shirt. But yeah, he's got an AEW shirt already. So cool. Anyway, I really loved the video packages and build up to this match, and it was a good match. Bobby Fish looked good. He looked good. Looked like he was his cardio looked good. I even noticed he shaved a little bit because he did have some gray hairs, but Bobby Fish looked good. He actually really looked good in this match. And he was doing what he normally does. This was a good back and forth match, but it took a GTH from Sammy Guevara to Bobby Fish to put him away, and he makes his first successful defense of the TNT Championship. Now, of course, afterwards, Retribution Brown says it's crazy because Bobby Fish and Adam Cole are on the same brand now. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? They were on the same brand in ROH, NXT, and now in AEW. It's crazy. So crazy. Shoot, before you know it, probably at some point, Roderick Strong is going to somehow make his way to AEW. Who knows? So, yeah, it's funny you pointed that out. Of course, afterwards, Dan Lambert had to get on the mic and had to sick the Men of the Year and Junior Dos Santos to come in and beat Sammy Guevara down. But, Jericho and Jake Hager did come down. And, of course, this sets up a match for next week's Rampage. It'll be Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager going up against the Men of the Year, which is Scorpio Sky, All Ego, Ethan Page, and Junior Dos Santos, which you could see as Junior Dos Santos was like doing the ground and pound. He was trying his best to kind of like hold back because, he's so used to really, really hitting people. He's a UFC fighter, so, how do I feel about that match? Not really a fan of it, to be honest with you. Like, I've seen enough guys come from MMA, names like that, like Junior Dos Santos. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him wrestle. Like, I have no interest in that. Like, come on, this whole Dan Lambert thing is kind of annoying. Like, keep them UFC folks over there. The Andre Arlovskis and the Jorge Masvidal. I don't want to see that in no pro wrestling ring. I don't want to see that. So, I don't know. I don't have a lot of interest in that. So, that's how I feel about that match. I don't have that much interest in it. Okay. So, big announcement was the next segment. Tony Schiavone, referee Aubrey Edwards, was in the ring. You notice Inner Circle show up? Yeah. After all, they still are the Inner Circle, even though we haven't really seen them as a unit lately. But yeah, I did notice in the graphic it did say Inner Circle. But big announcement. Tony Schiavone, Aubrey Edwards in the ring. The women's division of AEW is getting a new championship that turned out to be the TBS Championship. That's right. This title is meant for the ladies. So definitely looking forward to that. And not only that, it will be decided, the winner will be decided in a tournament. So there will be a tournament for this TBS Championship. And of course, they revealed the belt. It pretty much looks like the TNT Championship, except it's blue. It's white and blue. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. A lot of people are kind of looking at it as pretty much it's like the women's mid-card title. Kind of like how you have the TNT title, the AEW Championship. This TBS title is pretty much the women's mid-card title. And, discussing with some friends, I mean, a lot of them are talking about who could potentially be the first champion. Some say Serena Deeb, some say Thunder Rosa. I'm okay with anybody as long as it's not Jade Cargill. I'm sorry, but if Jade Cargill is the inaugural champion, I'm a pitch a fit. She better not win that championship. I can tell you that right now. But this is all in preparation for their move to AEW Dynamite will be moving to TBS on January 5th of 2022. So something definitely to look forward to. But hey, another championship in AEW. So the women now have 2 championship belts. Okay, you had Darby Allin versus Nick Camarado. I mean, honestly, I wasn't really that into this match. Really wasn't into that match. But Darby Allin did get the victory, nailed Camarado with a coffin drop. But QT Marshall had to sneak in a diamond cutter on Sting. Even though Sting totally no-sold it. Wasn't even phased. Wasn't phased at all. And just hit a Scorpion Death Drop on QT Marshall. Just wasn't even phased. He just like, just got back up and was just like, okay, I'm cool now. It was so funny. It was really funny. And it looks like the Dark Order, after last week, they did it for Brody. They did it for Brody Lee. Looks like the Dark Order are indeed back on the same page. For how long remains to be seen, but looks like they're back on the same page. We had Dante Martin in the ring with Tony Schiavone, and pretty much Dante Martin was like, hey, I challenge anybody. I'm willing to fight anybody in that AEW locker room. I feel like I'm on a roll, been having these great matches. I'm ready to fight somebody, whoever it is. Who shows up? Malachi Black. He shows up, spewed the mist in his face, and then hit him with a black mass. I don't know what they're going to call that now, because I'm pretty sure it's not called Black Mass in AEW. But they haven't given a name for his finisher yet, or if he has, I sure haven't heard it. If y'all know what it is, let me know, because I haven't heard it yet. So I continue to call it Black Mass. But he hit him with the Black Mass, and he accepted his challenge. So I believe that match is going to be on next week's Dynamite. Dante Martin, Malachi Black. Should be a good test for Dante Martin. I hope they give him a decent amount of time. I don't see him beating Malachi Black, but you gotta let this match take its course and really utilize both, because Dante Martin is a very up-and-coming high flyer. He's showing that he can do it in singles as well as in a tag team. And, he's got a big following. And the dude is quite a high flyer. Dude has a lot of hang time on his aerial assault, his leapfrogs, his drop kicks. Dante's the real deal. So, looking forward to that match. Should be a really good match. So, of course, we had segment with FTW champion Absolute Ricky Starks, which led to the Machine Brian Cage coming down to the ring. And the match that is scheduled is a Philly street fight. Philly street fight, which of course ended up taking place on Rampage, which I'll get into that in a bit. Thank you, Tony Khan. Yes, indeed, Retribution Brown. Thank you, Tony Khan. He's been firing on so many cylinders, making moves. It's been really, really good. Okay, next up, we had the match. Hikaru Shida versus Serena Deeb. This was Hikaru Shida's opportunity to get her 50th win in AEW. She's the one that's closest to it. And this was a great match, and I really like the story that this match told, the build-up and everything like that. And, it's kind of been a while since Shida's really wrestled on Dynamite. Lately, she's mainly been wrestling on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation pretty much ever since she lost the AEW Women's Championship to Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Now, this was a great match, definitely back and forth, but Serena Deeb, even after hitting the detox, Shida kicked out, and then all it took was a Serenity lock, and Shida taps out. Not only does she tap out, but to add insult to injury, there was a crystal plaque that would commemorate Shida's 50th win. She took that and bashed Shida with it after her victory. After the match, after Serena got the submission victory, she hit her with that award. So we definitely got a storyline brewing, but looks like Shida's 50th win didn't happen. But let's be for real. It is going to eventually happen. Who knows? Maybe before the end of this year. Maybe at Full Gear they'll have a rematch of some sort. But we all know it's going to eventually happen. But this is a good storyline brewing. Some may say that they swerved everybody. But this is a good storyline. I mean, Serena Deeb is a good heel. And like I said, a lot of folks are thinking she could be the first TBS champion. Remains to be seen. But they got a storyline brewing here with Shida and Serena Deeb. I love it. Definitely love it. Now, poor Darby Allin. Poor Darby Allin. He suffers a backstage parking lot beatdown with some masked men that came out of a limo. One even had the camera. One even took the camera to record all the action, which I'm pretty sure it was the Pinnacle. I mean, they were even saying it. It's got to be the Pinnacle. It's got to be. So put two and two together. It's got to be the Pinnacle. Dead giveaway. And we had a segment with Lio Rush, who apparently has his eyes on Dante Martin. You know what? He even offered some guidance for Dante Martin as he takes on Malachi Black. You know what? I would love to see Lio Rush paired with Dante and Darius Martin. Top Flight. Could you imagine that? Lio Rush, the man of the hour, and Top Flight together as a unit? That would be sick. Lio Rush is already a premier high flyer, very fast. And I still don't know when Darius Martin's coming back. I thought he was cleared, but can you imagine the chemistry and what this trio could do? Top Flight and Lio Rush? Shoot, I look forward to that. I hope they pull the trigger on that. I would love to see that. I would definitely love to see that. And then the main event. So the main event is going to be dope. Yeah. Like Retribution Brown, I would love to see that trio. Lio Rush and Top Flight. Oh, man. I already have a Top Flight shirt. Shoot, I would rock the mess out of that trio. I would rock the mess out of that. Okay. Main event was the Casino Battle Royal, or the Casino Ladder match, where the winner, the one that can pull down the poker chip, will earn himself a future AEW World Championship title shot. So, the competitors for this match, we had Andrade El Idolo, we had Jon Moxley, we had Lance Archer, we had Matt Hardy, we had Orange Cassidy, Pac, and the Joker. Now, the way that the order went, Pac and Orange Cassidy were the first two that came out. Then Andrade, then Matt Hardy, then Lance Archer, then Jon Moxley. And the Joker ended up being a returning Hangman Adam Page. And my, did that crowd pop or what? I mean, they let it all out. But yeah, Hangman Adam Page is back. And not only is he back, he freaking wins the casino ladder match. He captures the big poker chip and has earned himself a future AEW World Championship title shot. You know what? Retribution Brown said, I thought he was released. No. His wife was pregnant. His wife was pregnant. Nah, he was never released. Nah, he took time away because his wife was pregnant. They had a baby. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but yeah, his wife was pregnant. That's what the word was that he became a father. But I don't know, y'all. I mean, what do you think? I think the time is going to come, and I think Hangman Adam Page is going to be the one to dethrone Kenny Omega. It might not necessarily be at Full Gear, but I still think Hangman Adam Page is going to be the one to dethrone Kenny Omega. It's too obvious. It's too obvious. They've had such a rivalry and a story built up. We thought that Kenny Omega shut that down after they had their stable match. But honestly, it's got to be Hangman Adam Page. It's got to be. I think he's going to be the one not only to beat Kenny Omega, I'll give you one even better. I believe we're going to get one of the biggest pops in AEW when Hangman Adam Page kicks out of the One-Winged Angel. I said it. I think we could potentially get one of the biggest pops in AEW. They have their match for the title, and Hangman Adam Page is the first one to kick out of the One-Winged Angel before the count of 3. Adam Page might be the leader of Dark Order. I doubt it. I think what a lot of people are saying is if AEW perhaps does get Bray Wyatt, that he would potentially be the leader. Because you also got to remember, him and Brody Lee, they have a lot of history. Very, very close friends. And just with Bray Wyatt and how he can do his character and such, I think Bray Wyatt would be the better leader for the Dark Order over Hangman Adam Page, to be honest with you. It just really, him being the leader of the Dark Order just would not really fit him. It wouldn't really make sense, in all honesty, especially if they're able to get Bray Wyatt. Adam Page, I just don't see it. I don't see it. You know, I could be wrong, but I don't see it. I don't think it would make sense, to be honest. But yeah, so that is AEW Dynamite. Let's look at what happened with Rampage. First off, we had CM Punk versus Red Death Daniel Garcia, and this was actually really good. Really, really good. I mean, this was a technical clinic between these two wrestlers, CM Punk, Daniel Garcia. And like more and more that I see Daniel Garcia, man, he's been having some great matches. I know he wrestled, I saw him wrestle Davey Richards. I believe he also wrestled Alex Shelley. Like, Daniel Garcia, this dude's the real deal. He's the real deal. I think he's going to be excellent and it's going to really do some damage. And these two had a great technical match, just back and forth, back and forth. And CM Punk was able to get the victory by way of submission. And CM Punk busted out something I haven't seen him do in forever. He busted out the Anaconda Vice and made Daniel Garcia tap out. So, yep, he can still bust out that Anaconda Vice. Rumor is Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman going to be an Impact. Braun Strowman I could definitely see. Really? Was that confirmed with Bray Wyatt? Or just that's my rumor. That's interesting. Bray and Braun and Impact. Braun I could see. Bray. That's interesting. That's interesting. But yeah, CM Punk with another victory. This time a tap out victory. His first submission victory on AEW with the Anaconda Vice made Red Death Daniel Garcia tap out. But still, excellent match. Excellent match. And we even had a segment where Leo Rush was backstage and apparently had been challenged by Matt Sydal to score him a match, a one-on-one match with CM Punk. Matt Sydal, CM Punk. And I believe that match became official for, I believe, next week's Rampage. CM Punk, Matt Sydal. Man, that's a clash of two different styles there. Should be interesting. Now that I think about it, didn't they wrestle each other before back in WWE? You know, when Matt Sydal was Evan Bourne. I want to say they did. I don't remember. I want to say they did though. I don't remember. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Retribution Brown. If it's about Stardom, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it because I haven't watched it yet. If it's about Stardom, don't spoil it. If it's anything else, go ahead and share. But if it's Stardom related, don't spoil it because I'm watching it tomorrow. Okay. Next up, we had the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line as the Lucha Bros made their first defense against the Acclaim. You heard about AJ Lee. Yes, she's going to be working, I believe, backstage for a while. I believe. Wasn't it like a producer role or something like that, or some sort of backstage role? But yeah, she's going to be working for a while. Yeah, I remember seeing that news. But yeah, Lucha Bros and the Acclaimed, and this was good. This was definitely good. I want to say this is the Acclaim's second tag title shot. I think second. Could be first or second. I know I could have sworn they've gotten a tag title shot before, but I could be wrong. But it was good to see. It was good to see this tag title match. They said she's going to return to. She's returning to pro wrestling, like to wrestle. Like to wrestle? Really? But didn't CM Punk confirm that she wasn't going to be doing that due to her neck issues? Hold up. Really? Okay, now you really got me curious. Hold up. Yeah, the only thing I saw is she was going to be an executive producer and as a color commentator. Oh yeah, she did have an interview with Izzy. But yeah, from what I remember seeing, she was going to be a producer and color commentator for a while. Um. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, Lucha Bros back and forth tag team match, but Lucha Bros were able to successfully win and defend their tag team titles. And something that was mentioned by Excalibur with this, the Lucha Bros so far as a tag team have not lost a match this year. Did y'all know that? In AEW, the Lucha Bros this year so far have not lost a match. When they've competed as a tag team, they have not lost a match this year. That's crazy. And it's October. And they haven't lost a match. Lucha Bros might go undefeated the rest of this year. They just might go undefeated the rest of this year. That's crazy. That is crazy. We had Sky Blue versus Jade Cargill. I really cannot stand Jade Cargill. Her having these squash matches is just ridiculous. And Sky Blue had to take the squash. So ridiculous. And Sky Blue, she's been getting over with the crowd, and she just got squashed by Jade Cargill. I cannot stand that Raka Khan 2.0 looking Jade Cargill. And of course, she was gonna do some more damage to Sky Blue, and then Thunder Rosa came down with a chair and scared her off. But oh my God, I don't like Jade Cargill. I do not like her at all. Why? Why? And then, of course, there is the Philly Street Fight main event for Rampage with Brian Cage, and we had Brian Cage and the champion, the FTW Championship was on the line. Absolute Ricky Starks. Honestly, the outcome of this didn't surprise me. Of course, Ricky Starks had to have help. There was no way he was going to beat Brian Cage by himself. So, Powerhouse Hobbs and Hook had to interfere. Not surprised. And he was able to retain. While all bloodied up, he hit Brian Cage with the Rochambeau and retained the FTW title. But, he couldn't do it on his own. And, Philly Street Fight, no disqualification. Not surprised about the outcome. But yeah. And I believe it was also announced that there's going to be a championship eliminator tournament. Yeah, championship eliminator tournament they announced. I believe en route to Full Gear, where the winner will become the new number one contender. So that should be interesting. And it just makes me wonder. It makes me wonder, when is Hangman Adam Page going to actually get his title shot? Or is it just something that he's going to just cash in and just say, I want my title shot here or at this pay-per-view? Because I was thinking that he was going to get the shot at Full Gear. But if they're going to do a tournament to crown a number one contender, but then again, Full Gear isn't until November. So, they do have time. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But okay, that will do it for the for AEW. Now, let's switch gears to WWE. So, what I'm going to do is I definitely want to go over the draft. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through on Raw and on SmackDown and just list all the people that have been drafted to those brands. I want to go ahead and really put some focus on the draft before I start going into what happened during the week. So let's recap the draft. Taking a look at Raw. So these are the superstars that were drafted to Raw. All right, y'all ready? Starting from the top, AJ Styles, Akira Tozawa, Alexa Bliss, Angelo Dawkins, Apollo Crews, Austin Theory, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Big E, Bobby Lashley, Carmella, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Commander Aziz, Damian Priest, Dana Brooke, Dolph Ziggler, Dominic Mysterio, Doudrop, Drake Maverick, Edge, Finn Balor, Gable Stevenson, Jackson Riker, John Morrison, Karrion Kross, Keith Bearcat Lee, Kevin Owens, Liv Morgan, Mia Yim, Montez Ford, MVP, Nia Jax, Nikki ASH, Omos, Otis, R-Truth, Randy Orton, Reggie, Rey Mysterio, Rhea Ripley, Riddle, Robert Roode, Seth Rollins, Shelton Benjamin, T-Bar, Tamina, Tegan Knox, The Miz, Veer, Zelina Vega. And those are your superstars that have been drafted to Raw. Now, a bunch of these didn't surprise me. I mean, Becky Lynch didn't surprise me. I mean, there's a lot of folks that are staying. You know, everybody in the Hurt business is staying. Mia Yim, I'm hoping with her being drafted to Raw, I'm hoping Mia Yim will finally resurface and we'll actually get to see her compete and be in a storyline. Liv Morgan, I'm really hoping she has some better luck on Raw, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Let's see. Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz on Raw should be interesting. Should be an interesting change of scenery for them. Veer to Raw and Shanky and Jinder Mahal to SmackDown. That's weird that they're splitting them up. That makes no sense to me that they're splitting that stable up. Really, really weird. They split Tamina and Natalya. Did you look it up? I tried, but I didn't see anything on her returning to wrestling. I didn't see anything on her Twitter or anything like that. Retribution Brown. I checked AJ Lee's Twitter. I didn't see anything but just the announcement of her being the executive producer, color commentator for WoW. I didn't see anything about her returning to wrestling. If you happen to find a link, I mean, post it in the chat. I'd love to see it. But yeah, they split Tamina and Natalya, which, I mean, they're not the tag champs anymore, so I guess it's cool. They split Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart, which made no sense considering ever since they've teamed up on the main roster, they've been undefeated and they never got their tag title shot. They never got their tag title shot, so it makes no sense. The New Day split again. Not surprised. So, I mean, Jackson Riker, which he was just recently chasing around Reggie for the 24/7 championship. It was just really, really dumb, especially after recently took a loss to Karrion Kross. Otis and Gable, Alpha Academy, that should be an interesting change for them being moved to Raw. But Austin Theory is back on the main roster. Yeah, Zelina Vega going to Raw. That should be an interesting change of scenery for her. Kevin Owens as well. The Mysterios. So, I mean, there's a lot of interesting changes here. But those are your superstars that have been drafted to Raw. Now, let's hop from Raw to the blue brand, SmackDown. So, these are the superstars that have been drafted to the SmackDown brand. Ready? Here we go. Aaliyah, Angel Garza, Ashanti the Adonis, B-Fab, Cesaro, Charlotte Flair, Drew Gulak, Drew McIntyre, Eric, Happy Corbin, Umberto Carrillo, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Ivar, Jeff Hardy, Jimmy and Jay Uso, Jinder Mahal, King Nakamura, King Nakamura along with Rick Boogs, excuse me, Kofi Kingston, Mace, Madcap Moss, Mansour, Mustafa Ali, Naomi, Natalya, Ricochet, Ridge Holland, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Sasha Banks, Shanky, Shayna Baszler, Sheamus, Shotzi Blackheart, Tony Storm, Top Dollar, Xavier Woods, and Xia Li. Now, also keep in mind, the changes for this go in effect October 22nd. So right the day after Crown Jewel is when all of these draft picks go into effect. That's why you haven't seen anything change yet. So for SmackDown, I mean, hit row to SmackDown doesn't make any sense, but it looks like they are gearing up for Swerve to lose the North American title very soon to Santos Escobar. So it looks like that's coming up very soon. Shayna Baszler on SmackDown, I think it's a good change of scenery for her, especially after them splitting up her and Nia Jax. And I think her new home on SmackDown, I think, is a good spot for her. Ridge Holland getting called up in the main roster made no sense to me. I hope Ricochet has a lot better luck on SmackDown. I think he might have a shot on SmackDown. Aaliyah's kind of weird, but I don't know. Aaliyah's kind of weird. Drew McIntyre, interesting change of scenery there. I'm glad she's on Friday Night SmackDown. Which one? Are you talking about Aaliyah or Shayna Baszler? Talking about Shayna Baszler? Let's see. Xia Li will be interesting. She was kind of a shocker for me getting the call up because we hadn't seen Xia Li ever since her NXT Women's Championship match that she had with Raquel Gonzalez. So it'll be interesting to see how Xia Li does. She could be a sleeper. You know, I think she has a better chance going to SmackDown than Raw. So I'm gonna keep my eye out on Xia Li. I think she might be able to do something. And who knows? Xia Li versus Shayna Baszler could be interesting. MMA versus, martial artists, wushu martial artists. I mean, it should be interesting. Should be really interesting. I mean, a lot of these just, I don't know. The Viking Raiders on SmackDown could be good for them. Mustafa Ali and Mansour on SmackDown could be good for them, but I see them getting split up at some point. Yeah, Hit Row is going to be very interesting on SmackDown. Hit Row is going to be very interesting. But that is your 2021 WWE Draft. I mean, kind of uneventful if you ask me, but I thought it was funny how Gable Stevenson, they kind of did an NFL draft kind of look for him while they showed him on camera getting hugs from his family when he, got drafted. But we'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes. So, also, I wanted to point out 2 tournaments have been announced for WWE. The King of the Ring has returned, and they have also added the Queen's Crown tournament as well. So these actually started on Friday Night SmackDown, which I'll get into those a little later. But the competitors for these tournaments. So for the King of the Ring, you had Rey Mysterio, you had Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Finn Balor, Kofi Kingston, Jinder Mahal, Xavier Woods, and Ricochet. So that's for the King of the Ring tournament. And then for Queen's Crown, you had Toni Storm, Zelina Vega, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Doudrop, Natalya, Dana Brooke, and Shayna Baszler. So there's quite some variety there. Looking at these 2 tournaments, I mean, for the Queen's Crown tournament, looking at this originally, I was originally picking Shayna Baszler to win this tournament. I could definitely see her winning that tournament. And for the King of the Ring, I think it's gonna either end up being Finn Balor or maybe even Kofi Kingston or Jinder Mahal. We have to remember Jinder Mahal is a former WWE champion. So we'll have to see. But I feel like Finn Balor might be the favorite to win. But will be interesting. Will definitely be interesting. And they're going to run the tournaments on both SmackDown and on Raw as well. But yeah, let's get into Raw. Like I said, already went over the draft. But let's see. Raw. Jeff Hardy got another United States Championship opportunity. It was him going up against Damian Priest. I am now convinced that the Swanton Bomb is no longer effective because Jeff Hardy not only hit the Twist of Fate, but he hit the Swanton Bomb on Damian Priest. He no-sold it, and as Jeff Hardy was going to make the cover after the Swanton Bomb, or pretty much he was still finishing it, hit him with the Swanton Bomb, and then Damian Priest turned it into a roll-up crucifix cover and retained the title. Even after being hit with the Swanton Bomb. He didn't get his knees up or anything like that. He didn't move out of the way. He got hit by the finisher and then just rolled up Jeff Hardy in a crucifix style. and won. So dumb. So dumb. Yeah. And then Jeff Hardy afterwards got on the mic, delivered a message, and hinting at a change of character, a new attitude as he gets ready to part ways from Raw and go to SmackDown. He pretty much hinted at Willow surfacing on SmackDown. And I think that's exactly what we're going to get. And then at the end of that, Austin Theory comes out, asks for a selfie with Jeff Hardy. He takes the picture, and as he's letting him go to check to see if the picture came out, he attacks Jeff Hardy, takes him out, and then takes another selfie lying in the middle of the ring with Jeff Hardy laying there unconscious. So that's quite a way to make a beginning statement for Austin Theory as he makes his way to Monday Night Raw. Shayna Baszler for the Queen, and King, I got Xavier Woods. You got Xavier Woods to win the King of the Ring? With Jinder Mahal, Kofi in there, with Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Finn Balor in there? I highly doubt Xavier Woods will win the King of the Ring. I mean, he really doesn't have many singles victories. I don't see that happening. I mean, I don't even see him beating Ricochet. I don't see him beating Ricochet. Xavier Woods winning the King of the Ring, I think, would surprise a lot. Some would be happy. Some would be like, wait, what? Yeah, I don't think Xavier Woods has a chance, to be honest with you. I really don't think he has a chance. With the rest of the folks in there, Rey Mysterio, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Finn Balor, Kofi, Ricochet, Jinder, I don't see it. But we'll see what happens. I just think it would be kind of crazy if Xavier Woods won the King of the Ring. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's see. We had Dana Brooke versus Shayna Baszler, which that didn't last long. But the funny thing was, got the Kirifuda clutch on Dana Brooke, but she was like right there near the rope. All she had to do was stick her foot out. Like, she could have actually gotten out of it. She was that close to the rope. All she had to do was stick her foot out. So, I just thought that was weird. I thought that was really weird. But Shayna Baszler got the submission victory. Went to go attack Dana Brooke, pretty much just like how she did Nia Jax and Eva Marie. And then Doudrop comes down for the save. Shayna gets one cheap shot hitting Doudrop in the back. Of course, it didn't really phase her, but she kind of stood up and looked back at Shayna like she was either intrigued but not phased. So who knows? We might see Doudrop versus Shayna Baszler before Shayna makes the jump to SmackDown, but that was an interesting sequence there. Of course, we had Angel Garza and Umberto Carrillo versus Mustafa Ali and Mansour. Rematch City. Another rematch. And honestly, well, actually, no, I don't think this was a rematch because they went up against a different team. But it was a quick match. Of course, Mansour and Mustafa Ali still can't get on the same page, and they suffer another loss. Not surprised. It's going to be crazy if he fights Kofi Kingston. That could happen. I mean, That could happen, but if it does, I don't see Xavier beating Kofi. But I don't know. I mean, do you really want to cause a rift in the New Day? I mean, not saying that it would, but I don't know. Kofi versus Xavier, but it may happen. It just may happen. It's not impossible. It just may happen. We had Biggie and Drew McIntyre had a segment. I mean, Biggie got on the mic and pretty much called out Drew McIntyre to come meet him in the ring, discuss about the challenge. Drew McIntyre came out, of course, congratulated Biggie, showed him a lot of respect. And like I said, of course, the obvious happened. Drew McIntyre challenged Biggie for the WWE title at Crown Jewel. Then the Dirty Dogs came out, and pretty much Dolph Ziggler got on the mic and talked about how Biggie and Drew McIntyre owe him a thank you because he helped pave the way for them. He took them under their wing and pretty much felt like they're successful because of Dolph Ziggler. And he played the video package back when Big E used to be by his side and AJ Lee's side when he was Big E Langston. And then Drew McIntyre as well when he came up to back to the main roster after his NXT run, and he was tag team champions with Dolph Ziggler. So he's like, look at all that I've done for you. All I want is a simple thank you. You wouldn't have been successful without me. I want a thank you. And it just ended up turning into a tag team match. Big E and Drew McIntyre teamed up and took out the Dirty Dogs. And when it looked like Big E was going to put the nail in the coffin with a big ending, Drew McIntyre tagged himself in, hit a Claymore, got the victory. So we at least know that we have the match against Big E versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at Crown Jewel. Should be interesting. OMG, we might get Evil Asuka when she returns. Oh, you mean like Kana? Doubt it. WWE doesn't really know how to book Asuka correctly. I mean, for the longest time, they've had her do all this comedy, funny, gimmicky stuff, despite her being the real deal in the ring. I don't trust that WWE knows what to do with Asuka. I mean, we saw that in her last Raw Championship run. I don't trust WWE to know how to book Asuka correctly, especially bringing out Kana. I don't think they'll do it. I would love to see that. I would definitely love to see that. Or anything close to NXT Asuka. I don't see WWE doing that. They're not smart enough to do that. To be honest with you, Retribution Brown. I agree. What you're saying is a good idea. I'm not confident that WWE is smart enough to do that. We had Natalya and Tamina got themselves a women's tag team championship rematch against the current champions of Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH. And This team is so weird. Rhea and Nikki is just really, really weird. But Rhea hits a riptide and then had Nikki climb up on her shoulders and pretty much did a splash from her shoulders and got the victory. And they retain the tag titles. Tag titles that Shotzi and Tegan never got a shot at. But now they're split. And then we had a face-off or supposed face-off between Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. And pretty much he wants a one-on-one match at Crown Jewel with Bobby Lashley, and wants a no holds barred match. So anything goes, no holds barred. And Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin tried their best to ambush Goldberg, and they both got speared for it. And it just makes no sense. You reunite the Hurt Business, and they're getting squashed. Not only once in one night, but twice. Because then you turn around and you had the New Day beat Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Like, what's the point of bringing the Hurt Business back and you still make them look like fools? Like, you had them get demolished by Goldberg, and then you turn around and they lose a tag team match to Kofi and Xavier. Like, it's already bad enough that the Hurt Business just is randomly back together, but then you have them look like chumps back to back. You have them look like chumps. I don't get it. The Hurt Business, who should have never been broken up in the first place, and then you just randomly bring them back and they're getting squashed. I really feel for Cedric and Shelton, two incredible athletes, and they're getting destroyed by the New Day and by Goldberg all in the same night. It's so freaking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then you had the main event was Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair, which was a good match. Was a great match. Was back and forth, and it even just got to the point where Bianca was able to hit a KOD on Charlotte, but of course Becky Lynch, who was on commentary, had to come in and pull out Bianca Belair, and pretty much Bianca Belair did technically win by DQ, but then, they brawled. Those three ladies brawled, and then, of course, out comes Sasha Banks. She had to get her some. So, yeah, these four ladies closed out the evening, with this main event and then the attack after the match. I was laughing about that. Yeah, that whole segment with the Hurt Business is that's ridiculous. Really, really ridiculous. So, I mean, really the only thing that I really kind of paid attention to the most was the draft, or what draft picks they did on Raw. But honestly, that was a weak Raw. That was a weak Raw. Okay, NXT. So NXT was interesting. NXT was very interesting. Had a good handful of matches for NXT. You had Ember Moon versus Mandy Rose, and oh man, it was a good match, but it sucked that Ember Moon had to take the L in this match. Dude, Ember Moon's too good of a talent. I mean, I'm glad she's back on NXT, but yeah. But Mandy Rose pretty much delivered a V-trigger, got the victory over Ember Moon. It was a good match, though, but man, sucks to see Ember Moon lose like that. LA Knight versus Odyssey Jones had their match, and of course, Odyssey Jones was pretty much in control. But, of course, Andre Chase had to interfere. And when it looked like Odyssey Jones was going to get the victory, or actually, no, he was pinned by LA Knight. Foot was under the rope, but Andre Chase moved it so that he would get pinned. And that's how LA Knight got the victory over Odyssey Jones. So it's looking like we're going to see a storyline between Odyssey Jones and Andre Chase, a.k.a. Harlem Bravado. That's who I know him as, Harlem Bravado, who's a North Carolinian, by the way. Just like me. So we had a segment in the ring with Tommaso Ciampa, the current NXT champion, and Braun Breaker came down, and it has been made official that the next takeover, which is NXT's Halloween Havoc, so going to bring back the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, and Braun Breaker is going to get his shot at the NXT Championship against Tommaso Ciampa. Should be good. Should be really good. We have to see how the newbie does. You know, Braun Breaker, he's been doing pretty well so far. We'll have to see how he fares. They're really pushing him to the top there, giving him a title shot, which this will be his first. I believe this will be Tommaso Ciampa's first title defense since winning it in that Fatal 4-Way. So, hey, should be good. We had another Joe Gacy segment before he had his match with Ikemen This gimmick with Joe Gacy just, I don't think it fits him. I don't think it fits him because I remember seeing him wrestle and Evolve, and he just was nothing like this. I really don't like this gimmick. I really don't. But he hit pretty much a clothesline from hell and got the victory over Ikemen who did get his share of offense in. And then afterwards, after Gacy got the pin, he picked him up, and hugged him, showed good sportsmanship, and then just left. So, Ikemen still looked kind of dazed after the match, but hey, showed good sportsmanship. And then also, there was a segment backstage with Tommaso Ciampa, and Joe Gacy, wanted to challenge Ciampa for that NXT championship. So Ciampa made a deal. He was like, you know what? If you can beat me, you can be added to the match between him and Braun Breaker. It'll be a triple threat. So we'll see what happens with that. Joe Gacy has a shot to get into the main event at Halloween Havoc. So that should be interesting. We had Cora Jade versus Frankie Monet. And while it seemed that Frankie Monet was mostly in control, Cora Jade, of course, she had Trey Baxter. Cora Jade pulled off the upset and she pinned Frankie Monet. Wowzers. Not a good look for Frankie Monet. Not a good look. We're talking about somebody that was one of the longest reigning knockout champions from Impact Wrestling, which I think she still holds the record. But it wouldn't surprise me if Deonna Purrazzo ended up breaking that record. But Cora Jade with the upset over Frankie Monet. We had Pete Dunne going up against Cameron Grimes. And I know they had a backstage segment because Cameron Grimes was looking to find himself a girl. But I was so bummed about this. But Cameron Grimes fell to Pete Dunne. I was so bummed. I was really, really bummed. And, of course, you had Ridge Holland there as well. But Kyle O'Reilly showed up, took the fight to Ridge Holland. But even with all that going on, Pete Dunne was still able to get the victory over the Carolina caveman, Cameron Grimes. Sucks that he lost that match because I love my North Carolinian wrestlers, but have to continue to make Pete Dunne look strong. You had the debut of Tony D'Angelo when he took on Malik Blade. I mean, honestly, I wasn't really impressed with this match. I mean, it was just This match was I wasn't really feeling it. This match was Not sure I'm really feeling this Tony D'Angelo character, to be honest with y'all. But this is just me. But I was like, wasn't really feeling that match. And then we had Indy Hartwell versus Mei Ying of Tiansha. First of all, I don't even know why this match was even a thing. And second of all, even though she had her friend, who was it, Persia Parati, which, was at the Index wedding and whatnot, and the bachelorette party. Indy Hartwell beat Mei Ying. She did the springboard elbow drop, which she does so well. And she beat Mei Ying. What the heck? Why did this match even happen? This was Mei Ying's second match. And she loses. Oh my God. And just like that, Mei Ying has lost. Supposed to be the leader of Tiansha, supposed to be evil and supposed to be difficult to beat, supposed to be Boa's master and all that. And she gets beat by Indy Hartwell. So now she might as well just flat out be powerless. But yeah, lost to Indy. It's crazy. So crazy. Makes no sense to me. And then you had Raquel Gonzalez come to the ring, pretty much called out Toxic Attraction. Toxic Attraction came down, talked some smack, surrounded the ring. Looks like they were going to attack Raquel Gonzalez again. But then out comes the NXT Women's Tag Team Champion Zoe Stark and Io Shirai. And man, I don't know what that was Io Shirai was wearing, but that doesn't seem like something she would wear. It had like a glitter see-through like outfit. I was like, what in the world is Io wearing? It was interesting. I mean, she looked great, but that was interesting what she was wearing. I was like, what the heck? But yeah, it looked like they, stood united or somewhat united with Raquel Gonzalez. But, they had a backstage segment. Io was like, I dislike Toxic Attraction more than I dislike you. And then Persia and Indy Hartwell met them and was like, hey, pretty much show that they want a shot at those tag titles. And of course, Io reminded them that, it was originally Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae that they defeated to become the tag champions. But we'll see what happens with Indy's new partner, Persia Parata. We'll have to see how that goes, but it looks like we may have found new contenders for the women's tag team titles. Zoe and Io have been on the same page so far, and they've been doing well. So we'll see what happens. And then the main event, you had a fatal four-way for the NXT tag team titles. So MSK defended. Oh, it was a fatal four-way elimination match for the NXT tag team titles. MSK defended against Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, the Grizzled Young Veterans, as well as who is it? Josh Briggs and Brooks Denson, I believe that's his name. I think that's his name. But yeah, Fatal 4-way elimination match. So, if I remember correctly, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams got eliminated first. Then the Grizzled Young Veterans got eliminated. And then Brooks and Briggs got eliminated. It was quite a fatal 4-way elimination match, but like MSK, I still don't know why lately MSK has been getting booed. I really don't get that. But MSK defeating 3 other teams to retain the NXT tag team titles, and then saw some good sportsmanship from Briggs and Brooks. And then Imperium shows up and attacks MSK. And it looks like Imperium is putting themselves back into the picture to go after the NXT tag team titles. So I think we're going to be looking forward to seeing MSK versus Imperium. Should be good. Should be really good. But yeah, pretty interesting, but decent NXT. So NXT UK, had a couple of matches here. So you had Jenny, the fashionista, of course, accompanied by Joseph Connors, going up against Milia McKenzie. And this was a nice back and forth match. And of course, Meiko Satomura, came out to help even the odds. But Jenny was still able to get the victory doing the rolling Liger kick and pin Milia McKenzie. Not only that, she got on the mic and she challenged Meiko Satomura for the NXT UK Women's Championship. So, looks like we have that title match to look forward to, which I believe they say, I guess they're going to have that match next week, perhaps. So, looking forward to that. Jenny and Meiko Satomura should be good. Should be really good. Sam Gradwell versus Mark Andrews, which Sam Gradwell was able to get the victory, which I feel like he hasn't won a match in a while. So this was kind of a big victory for Sam Gradwell, getting the victory over Mark Andrews. And then we also had a segment where Blair Davenport made a visit to Sid Scala and pretty much got word that she is going to be reinstated, and she, has a match. She's going to be having a match to face off against Stevie Turner. So we'll have to see how this goes. But it looks like these two ladies are eventually going to settle things in the ring. So Blair Davenport, Stevie Turner. Looking forward to that. That should be really good. Looking forward to that match. And then we had the main event. The main event is the finals of the Heritage Cup #1 contendership, where the winner gets a shot at Tyler Bate, who currently holds the Heritage Cup Championship. Now, this was pretty back and forth. And I have to say, this match, they really made Wolfgang look pretty dang on strong, especially in the last half of this match. But it was back and forth. Of course, Shaw Samuels was in Noam Dar's corner, and the Coffey brothers, Mark and Joe Coffey, were in Wolfgang's corner. I mean, they're Gallus. And during this match, the Irish Ace, Jordan Devlin, came out and attacked Joe Coffey, and they just started battling as it took to backstage. Noam Dar took advantage of Wolfgang distracted by the chaos and was able to get the first pin to go up 1-0. And then not long after that, Wolfgang catches Noam Dar with a spear just like that and evens it up. So it's 1-1. And this match really came down to the wire. It even got to the point where just Wolfgang was taking so much punishment and was still bouncing back. He even took a Nova Rolla from Noam Dar and he kicked out at 1. He kicked out at 1. Like, it was crazy. It was so crazy. Like, he just absorbed that Nova Rolla. But then it took a second Nova Rolla to put away Wolfgang. But I mean, you got to imagine Wolfgang was made to look really strong in this match. Really strong. But Noam Dar is your Heritage Cup #1 contender tournament winner. Therefore, he will get his shot at the Heritage Cup against Tyler Bate, who currently holds that Heritage Cup. So that should be good. Should be really interesting. Tyler Bate and Noam Dar have quite a history, have quite a rivalry. These two have, I know Noam Dar has gotten on Tyler Bate's nerves so much, and these two have been back and forth. So honestly, this is a good way to settle it. And who knows? It kind of wouldn't surprise me if Noam Dar won the Heritage Cup. I mean, Noam Dar hasn't really won a championship or anything yet in the WWE so far. So, hey, he might finally do it. Might finally see him win the Heritage Cup. That'll be his first big championship in his WWE career. We shall see. And then, of course, we know we got A-Kid versus Ilya Dragunov to look forward to for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. So that should be good. That should be really good. Okay, and then you have SmackDown. So SmackDown, I had to do some catching up because I missed part of it, so I had to go back and do some catching up. But they had a segment where was supposed to have a contract signing in the beginning between the three ladies, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, for their triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Crown Jewel. But of course, you know how contract signings going, went to chaos. But as they brawled, Bianca Belair ended up the last woman standing as she gave she gave Becky Lynch a KOD onto Sasha Banks through the table. Like, statement made. Not only that, but this SmackDown kicked off the King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown tournaments. We had Sami Zayn versus Rey Mysterio, first round matchup, King of the Ring tournament. Things were going well with Rey Mysterio. Dominic came down and, of course, ended up being a distraction. Sami Zayn attempted to untie a turnbuckle pad. Rey Mysterio tried to come back in and patch it up. Rey Mysterio saw him, was like, "Hey, son, what the heck are you doing? What are you doing?" Sami Zayn took advantage of the distraction and was able to get the victory over Rey Mysterio and advance in the tournament. So still more dissension and miscommunication among the Mysterios. And of course, we know the Mysterios are going to Raw, but just honestly, probably going to go to Raw and they're probably going to split like that. It would not surprise me whatsoever. And then I was surprised at this next match. So, Queen's Crown tournament match. It was Zelina Vega versus Toni Storm. And she actually beat Toni Storm. Hit her with the code red, and she beat Toni Storm. That's an upset win. That's a big upset win. I mean, she beat the second Mae Young Classic winner. Like, wowzers. She beat the second NXT UK Women's Champion. So crazy. But yeah, Zelina Vega advances, gets the upset victory over Toni Storm. Really crazy. And of course, we had the segment, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns still trying to pick Paul Heyman's brain. I mean, it was already funny enough that, he was so thankful that the Usos did get drafted to stay on SmackDown. But, the Usos and, the Bloodline are still wondering, it's like, what the heck, man? Like, what's up with Brock Lesnar? Did you use the same negotiating skills that made sure Brock Lesnar was a free agent? Like, I don't know, y'all. What do you think? Do you see Paul Heyman eventually turning on Roman Reigns and re-siding with Brock Lesnar? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. But this is going to get really interesting, especially en route to Crown Jewel. So, next up, we had another Queen's Crown tournament match as Carmella went up against Liv Morgan, because we saw this matchup so many times. But this time, Carmella bested Liv Morgan and was able to get the victory. So, dang, Liv Morgan and Toni Storm out of there. And it looks like, according to the tournament bracket, the next round, it'll be Zelina Vega versus Carmella. And lately, they've been kind of working together on the same page. So that's going to be interesting. Carmella versus Zelina Vega. I hope Zelina Vega wins. And who knows? Zelina Vega could potentially be in the finals of this Queen's Crown tournament. I would love to see that, because I do not want to see Carmella win this. I really don't. But yeah. Semifinals, Zelina Vega and Carmella. And then you had Kevin Owens interrupt a happy talk segment to try to get back at Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. But of course, the numbers game, and just a 2-on-1 doesn't work in Kevin Owens' favor. And he found out the hard way. So, and of course, after they beat him down, they would just kept laughing and laughing. And, the fake laugh. They are trying too hard with the acting to really emphasize and exaggerate the laughing. But it's a gimmick. So, I mean, I get it. Pardon me. We had another really, really good King of the Ring tournament match. Finn Balor versus Cesaro. Great match. This was definitely match of the night for me. Clearly showed. But when it all came down to it, Finn Balor hits the coup de grace and was able to get the victory over Cesaro. Very well, close, hard-fought match. And Finn Balor advances. So that means in the semis, we're going to get Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn, which on paper should be a great match. These are two great athletes, great wrestlers. Finn Balor, Sami Zayn should be interesting, but good. Interesting, but good. Another big piece of news. So Naomi was backstage with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Just wondering about the situation, their status on SmackDown, and why she wasn't picked to participate in the Queen's Crown tournament. And Sonya Deville made fun of her, said she doesn't deserve it, and just berating her. And this all led to Sonya Deville announcing that next week, Naomi, you're going to have a match against me. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, Sonya Deville is finally making her return to the squared circle. That's right. She is going to put her hair up and square up and return to the ring and face Naomi. This should be interesting. This should be really good. Word has it that Sonya Deville's been training again to get back ready to re-debut. So this doesn't surprise me. You know, I figured it was a matter of time that Sonya Deville was going to return. So it's only a matter of time, and it looks like it's going to happen next week. Looking forward to it. Should be interesting. It's been a good long while since we've seen Sonya Deville wrestle. I mean, she had the rivalry with Mandy Rose, and you know, she lost that match, so she had to go away. But she's getting ready to return and get back into the ring, and her first test, Naomi. Should be interesting. And then the last segment of the evening was Seth Rollins coming out, you know, talking smack about Edge, still wondering and waiting. Hey, you haven't answered my challenge. You haven't answered my challenge. And then, of course, Edge does shows up, spears Seth Rollins, takes a piece of that lower bar of a chair, and was going to use it to put Seth Rollins in the crossface and whatnot, but he was able to fight back and escape from that. And that ended up leading to Edge declaring that he accepts Seth Rollins' challenge, but he wants it done in a Hell in a Cell match. I mean, after all, Seth Rollins said, hey, we can do this anytime, any place. Heck, you can even pick the stipulation. And but Edge definitely picked a great stipulation where he picked Hell in a Cell match. So it looks like we're going to get the final showdown between Edge and Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. Should be good. Should be really good. It's a good way to end SmackDown. But I tell you, got quite a lot going on in the pro wrestling world. I mean, you got these two tournaments. I mean, Queen's Crown, King of the Ring. You got an upcoming TBS Championship tournament and AEW World Championship Eliminator tournament. You got a lot coming up. G1 Climax. A lot of tournaments going on in the pro wrestling world. So this is exciting. This is really exciting. But anyway, that will conclude this episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. We talked a lot. Man, went up 2 hours. But hey, a lot of juicy info and a lot to discuss. WWE Draft is over. It takes effect October 22nd, one day after Crown Jewel. So we haven't gotten there yet, but little by little, we'll see what happens. We'll see how things develop. But anyway, that's all I have for y'all tonight. Thank y'all so much for watching. For those that chatted it up tonight, thank you so much. But yeah, this is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram with another Pro Wrestling Talk. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope everybody has a blessed weekend, and I will see y'all soon. Take care. Peace out. Good night, everybody.